So back in like summer of 1997 or so, I was fresh out of high school, senior, getting excited to leave my hometown, head to the capital city of Yugoslavia at the time, and join the seminary, become a pastor, become who I have been ever since. And I thought that I had a unique story. I thought that I had an amazing experience where God called me to do what I'm doing. And when I walked into that seminary to meet all of the other people who were starting with me at the same time, I realized I am really the one with one of the most boring stories out there. When I started hearing the stories of other guys who were there, I was one of the youngest ones over there. That's number one. I thought I'll be surrounded with my peers, where there were guys that were half a decade, even more, older than me, who already had so much experience in their life from my 19-year-old perspective back then. And I remember one guy who was kind of fresh out of war zone. He crossed in the middle of the night through a minefield and survived, and everybody was amazed how he survived. Then another guy shares his medical miracle story where his eyesight was changed overnight, literally, for him to be able to get the proper prescription so he can actually study and come and become a pastor. And I really didn't have much to share. I remember this moment when God called me to be a pastor, and that was an amazing personal experience, but nothing really special. But what really hit me as I was listening to these guys talking, all of them had their lives. They already started establishing themselves. They built their own businesses, already had some kind of degree before that, and so on. And they decided to leave it all behind. They decided to change their lives drastically, some radical changes in some of those lives for one sole reason. And that was, they believed that if they graduate from the seminary and become a pastor, their lives are going to have a tremendously more purpose than they have it right now. And it was like, geez, almost 30 years ago. But I still vividly remember my own marveling over this thing, because it really got me to realize that I didn't have any struggle in my life at that time that could be even closely comparable to the struggles of these other guys who came here. And as the years and decades of my life have been kind of counting down, God brought me to humbleness with my own fair share of struggles, but for one purpose: for me to become a better pastor today than I was yesterday, than I was a year ago, than I was way back 10 years ago, and so on. What I would like us to talk about today, I would like us to talk about one fact that is clearly described in the Bible and that is obvious pretty much if you're willing to open your eyes. But this fact is something that we tend to neglect because it hurts. It doesn't feel that good. And that is, whoever you are in life, wherever you are in your life path, you are under construction. You are still a masterpiece to be beat into shape. And the reason why this is important to understand is because if we don't embrace this idea that we are under construction, we tend to say, I'm good, I'm done, I am set, I am done with my growth, and then we stale into mediocrity. And that is exactly where God doesn't want us to be at. So today, as we discuss this topic, I challenge you to open your mind, to open your heart and hear the message from the Bible that will hopefully move you to look in the mirror and say to yourself, tomorrow I'm going to be more than what I am today. My name is Pastor Miloš. I'm the Associate Pastor in the Arvada Adventist Church. Welcome to our TV show. Thank you very much for joining. I hope it's going to be a blessing, what I have to share to you, as much as it has been a blessing to me to prepare this message, because God literally took me through this experience for me to be able to preach it. And I hope it's going to be a blessing as much as it was to my church when I shared it with them as well. So open your heart and your mind and get ready to receive whatever God has to tell you through these Bible verses and stories that we're going to talk about today. I would like us to start with Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 and 19. Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Over here, prophet Isaiah is writing a promise. And this is a promise that God gives to his people as their exile in Babylon ends. So God is preparing them for what is coming after their exile. He is going to bring them back to the land that he promised to them, and he is going to get them to rebuild the temple and rebuild the country that they had. Nevertheless, they wanted the good old glory days. They wanted to rebuild and make everything. Let's just make everything as it used to be before. God tells them, no, that is not what you're going to do. I have a promise for you, and my promise is I am bringing a new thing. Now it springs forth. When God builds, he does not recreate the good old days. And this is a struggle that all of us share with the people of God of his time. We look at our lives and we remember the glory days of our lives. And we would like to, Lord, help me go back to that time when I could fit into narrower jeans, when I could work harder, when I could think harder, when I could love harder, when all of these things were so much better back then. And God looks at you and says, like, no, you outgrew those jeans. It's time for us to make something new. This good old glory days is what keeps a lot of people stuck in their lives. They're trying to relive them, or if they can't relive them, in their minds, they keep thinking about those days, and then they're stuck in their present moment where they are in their mediocrity because they don't invest into growing into something new, appreciating and respecting the experiences of the past, but not trying to go back to them, but rather draw from them to right here, right now, create something bigger that you will be tomorrow. That's why God says over here to his people, forget the past days. Yeah, it was great, it was awesome, but stop considering these things of old. I want you to build something new. I want you to become different than who you were back before. And then he makes a promise over here. He says, I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Like, this is something that doesn't happen just like that. Ways in the wilderness and rivers in the desert is something that is describing an amazing, miraculous experience of abundance that waits for you in your future if today you're willing to give up your past and try to create something that is going to be completely new and different in your life. Now, one important thing to understand over here is God is with you here today, and he is waiting for you in the future to get there. But he needs you. He needs you to embrace one thing. Whoever you are right now, you can't be the same person tomorrow. Because if you are, that means that you're stagnating. That means that your soul is becoming stale. That means that you're not doing anything to improve your life. And at that point, if you don't want improvement, God is going to walk away and let you go stale, because he's not going to make you. He's not going to force you. But what he will do, if you pray for a change, he will make things happen that will create an environment for a change. And that's what I want us to talk about today. So, let's start with this. Let's start with the story in Genesis in chapter 12. This is the story of Abram. All of us know this story. I'm going to go briefly through it, but I need you to get the message of understanding what God does to Abram over here. The main message of his beginning of the story is that God is not going to let you settle. So if you go on your knees and you say, God, please help me have a better life. Please help me have a better marriage, have better finances, have better family connection with my kids, have better job, whatever you're praying for better. God is going to make it happen, but He is not going to allow you to settle. That's where these prayers are actually even coming from our desire not to settle. But here is how it worked with Abram. So, Lord said to Abram, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. And I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great so that you will be a blessing. Now, really crazy thing over here. If we think about Abram and if we read on about who he was really well off. He had family wealth that he inherited from his father and his ancestors. He had his own wealth that he built. He was a young man. Let's compare him to our age. He was probably in his mid-30s. He had a wife. He had a broad family. He had a paid-off house. He had investment properties. He had cars in his garages that were paid in cash. He was really good. Everything was fine with him, except one thing. He looks at all of his wealth, everything he has, and he's like, what's the point? Why am I doing all of this? Who is this gonna go to when I leave? To my brother's son? Yeah, Lot is a great kid, I love him, but he's not mine. My name dies with me. Why would I try harder? And then I would really imagine that Abram was praying for a son. Abram was praying for somebody that will continue the lineage, that will inherit all of his hard work. He was praying for God to give him a better life. And God said, Abram, I got a deal for you. And then he tells him the verses that we just read. You will pack up your stuff. You will leave everything you know. You're going to become a completely different person before you are even ready to become a father. God told him, I will make you a blessing to all nations. And he's pretty clear that he is going to give him an offspring in his promises. But before God was able to fulfill his promise, he needed to change Abram. My dear friends, are you asking God to change your life? Are you praying to God to make things different? Whatever is going on, wherever you are in life. If you are, you're doing a great thing. But be ready for this. The process of God answering your prayer is going to be process of your personal transformation. Do you want a better job? God first have to make you a better worker. Do you want a better marriage? God first have to make you a better and more understanding person. Do you want better social connections? God first have to make you to be more compassionate and loving to people. Whatever it is, do you want better health? God first needs to teach you what does it mean to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So, anytime you ask God for a change, He is going to bring in the change. But that change is going to come through an upset in your life. Your life is going to change. Things are going to start hitting you. Like you would say, like, oh, why are bad things happening when I pray to God? They're not bad things. They're just trials and tribulations and troubles and pains that are stepping stones to a new you that will be able to receive a gift that you are praying for. Does it make sense? That's what happened to Abram. So Abram is praying for a son, and God is like, Okay, fine, I can give you a son, but in order for you to become a father, you need to be a different person. And in order for you to be a different person, first, we have to get you out of the environment that you're in. Very often, God can't answer your prayers because you set yourself in an environment that does not allow you to become a person that is going to receive an answer to that prayer. Maybe you're praying for a spouse, but you're surrounded with people that represent everything that is not part of a lasting relationship. You know, so God is first going to get you out of that. I don't know. He might give you an opportunity to move to a different part of town, away from these party people that you're hanging out with. Or who knows what's going to happen, but God is going to upset your life. That is my point. He's not going to do it nicely. He's going to make sure that your life is being deconstructed in order to be reconstructed after that in a shape where you will be able to receive the prayer that you're asking. And if you look at Abram's story, like his story is crazy. He made so many mistakes. He screwed up so many times. Some of the mistakes he repeated again and again. And this process of making mistakes eventually started getting him to the point where he was making less and less mistakes because he was trusting God more and more. When problems hit him, he wouldn't cry anymore, "Why, God, get me out of this?" No, he would be wondering, okay, how is this going to take me closer to answer my prayers? One of the craziest experiences he had was when God tells him, okay, Abram, take your son Isaac, go up that mountain, and I want you to sacrifice him as a burnt offering to me. And Abram is like, okay, you got it. And he takes his son, and they go up the mountain, and they have the wood, they have the fire, and Isaac is asking him like, Dad, like we got the wood, the fire, everything, where's the offering? And Abram's answer was, son, God will take care of the offering. And that's exactly what God did. My dear friends, do you want your life to improve? Do you want God to answer your prayers? If you do, then get ready to embrace every single upset in your life as a stepping stone in that direction. Are you struggling with health? And you ask God, God, please help me have a better health. He's going to put you in a hospital. So you realize how bad your health actually is, and He's going to connect you to people who are actually going to teach you and train you. This is what you need to do to get your health better. 6 months later, you will look back and say, wow, that was awesome. You ask God for more money in your life. He's going to get you to lose your job. You're going to get fired. And you're going to be like, what in the world are you doing? But He's going to get you fired so you can finally have the brevity to apply for that better job that is paid more, but you would have never dared to take that step had you been employed. God is going to bring an upset that He is fully in control of. But you have to follow through. You have to believe. You have to know that you're not on your own in it. God is going to bring an upset to your life, but He will have your back. This is an important lesson I need you guys to remember that I would like to talk about next. God will have your back as He is preparing you for whatever change He has for you. This one is really hard pill to swallow. Not everybody, because here's the thing. Once you're in the middle of trials, you just want to get out of them. While God wants you to stay in them in order to be able to go through them. And when you get stuck, He has your back. An example is a story of Peter. You guys are familiar with the story of Peter. So Peter is a fisherman. He's trying to make ends meet. He's trying to make money. He's trying to figure out how to feed his family, his wife, take care of everybody. and he's fishing and he catches nothing. Like the whole night, he catches nothing. Jesus comes to him and tells him, I want you to follow me. I really have better things to do than to follow you, Rabbi. Okay, here's the deal. Toss your nets on the right side. And Peter is like, dude, come on, we fished all night. We didn't catch anything. You think we're going to catch something over here in the shallows right now just because you say so? Okay, fine, I'll do it. Fine. Come on, guys. Let's just toss the nets and let's see what happens. You guys know the rest of the story. He couldn't even pull out the load of fish that he caught, that the sons of Zebedee had to come in and help him get everything loaded on the boat. And Peter realizes one thing. All of his life needs can be met by God if he gives him a chance. But here is the problem. Peter still has a family to take care of. Peter still has a business to run. He has a wife at home. He has mortgage to pay. He has taxes to pay, bills and so on. He can't just leave Jesus. Even though Jesus just showed him, listen, I can take care of all of your needs. I'll make sure that you have everything you need if you decide to follow me. And Peter is like, okay, but I got to talk to my wife first, you know. So Peter goes home. Just imagine Peter coming home. Honey, we got to talk. Take a seat. Listen, so I'll have to quit my job. I'm leaving my business. I'm going to go follow that rabbi. So I won't be around that much, around the house. What do you think his wife told him? What do you think, how many questions did his wife have for him at that moment? Just imagine the barrage of questions that she started bombarding him with as he was sharing this incredible plan that he had set for him. Listen, guys, Peter was in a lot of trouble at that moment, and I can imagine he having to talk to Jesus, like, listen, Jesus, we got to talk. So I talked to my wife, and she's not too crazy about my plan. I'm not sure how is this going to pan out, but you know what? I don't want to get my marriage in trouble. I don't know, maybe we can do this thing with fish like 2-3 more times, just so I can have them settled so they'll be fine if I'm gone and so on. You know how they say, happy wife, happy life. But yeah, I am not sure I'll be really able to follow you, the way you imagine it. So Jesus is like, you know what? I got you. I completely understand. But I took care of you once. Let me talk to your wife. Let's see what kind of questions does she have. So Matthew chapter 8, verses 14 and 15 say, and when Jesus entered Peter's house, he saw his mother-in-law lying sick with a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her. And she rose and began to serve him. And at that point, Jesus looks Peter's wife straight in the eye. Sorry, you had some questions for me, honey? God will have your back if you decide to go on with his plan. And to make a point, Jesus goes to his home and he heals mom. Like, imagine Peter's wife. Like, he wants to leave and my mom is here homesick. I don't know what to do with her. And then Jesus comes and he just takes it all away. He shows his wife as well that he can take care of all of her needs while her husband is on the road with him. My dear friends, God will upset your life in order to bring up change. But he will also be with you every step of the way. Yeah, it's going to be scary because you're not going to know what's happening. You're not going to know where is this taking you. Yeah, it's going to be painful and troublesome because you will rub wrong onto some people because of your principles and because of the things that you want to maintain. Yes, not everybody is going to appreciate it. Most likely, your closest ones are going to be the ones who are going to say that you're doing the stupidest thing in your life. But here's the thing. He has your back. And he will show you that he has your back in those moments. That's what he did with me in my life. He showed me that I'm not on my own. That actually it's not my concern how things are going to pan out. All I have to do is follow the doors opening in front of me. And the more I followed, the easier it was. You are not just supposed to trust God. You're supposed to trust the process of change. The process of change will require some hard choices. But at the same time, that process of change, through the hard process, through the hard things, is going to harden you. And you will be able to carry things that you didn't even dream you're capable of 6 months ago. You look in the mirror and you're like, whoa, this is amazing. The last verse I would like us to read today is written in Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. And I'm sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. If you pray for better life and God starts the ball rolling, trust me, he will roll it off all the way to the end. The only way that you will get stuck is if you choose to refuse to change. If you say, oh, you know what, I'm good enough. This is my best mediocre self, and I will settle for this. Should you choose that, God is not going to push, but you will never be content. You will never be happy. You will always stay with that like stale taste in your mouth. Food will never completely and fully satisfy you. You will always look back regretting you didn't go all the way through. So I challenge you today, if you're asking God to bring a better life to you, it's coming through the upset and deconstructing of what it is, but He's got your back. He will make sure that your life is reconstructed into something so much better and more and just amazing. But you have to follow through. You will never regret this. Because here's the thing. What do you have to lose? You're going to die anyways. You want to play it safe? Fine. You might even die tonight. What then? You wasted your life of playing it safe. No. Bite the bullet. Go for it. Change your life. Pursue love, compassion, and being better. Prove it to yourself that God has intended you for a much better life. May God bless you as you do this. May He be with you as you are pushing through your pain and struggle and fears in order to become more. God bless you.